Welcome to Audiobook Summary. Have you ever wondered why some people seem effortlessly disciplined while others struggle to stick with even the simplest routines? Why do some manage to build extraordinary success one tiny step at a time, while others burn out chasing massive goals? The answer, as James Clear reveals in Atomic Habits, lies not in sudden transformation, but in the power of small, consistent improvements. Tiny habits may seem insignificant day to day, but over time, they compound into extraordinary results, for better or worse. Today, we're going to explore how you can reshape your identity, upgrade your behavior, and design a life that naturally pulls you towards success. But before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming summaries. If you enjoy our summaries, please like the video and leave a comment to support us. It really helps us continue bringing you inspiring content. Now let's dive into one of the most powerful frameworks for personal transformation ever written. Part 1, the hidden power of small habits. We often overestimate the importance of one defining moment and underestimate the value of making better choices day after day. Success, James Clear explains, is not about massive leaps. It's about tiny atomic habits repeated consistently. Just as an atomic particle is the smallest unit of matter, an atomic habit is a small routine that forms the foundation of remarkable results. The magic lies in the power of compounding, as small actions repeated daily grow exponentially over time. The math of improvement: if you get just 1% better every day, by the end of 1 year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. But if you get 1% worse each day, your potential erodes until almost nothing remains. This principle applies to everything: your health, your mindset, your finances, your relationships. Tiny habits compound just like money earning interest, and the effects of your consistency multiply invisibly before becoming visible. Think of a block of ice. You can raise the temperature from -5 degrees Celsius to -1 degree Celsius, and nothing seems to happen. But when it reaches 0 degrees Celsius, it suddenly melts. That's how habits work. Change is often invisible until it becomes unstoppable. Habits shape identity. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. You're not just building habits, you're building identity. Instead of saying, "I want to read more," say, "I am a reader." Instead of saying, "I want to exercise," say, "I'm an active person." Your identity grows from your actions, and your actions grow from your identity. Each small habit reinforces who you believe you are until eventually that belief becomes your new reality. Practical exercise, the 1% rule. 1, pick one area of your life where you want to grow, maybe health, productivity, or mindset. 2, write down one simple action you can repeat daily that moves you forward just 1%. Example: read 2 pages of a book, stretch for 5 minutes, or write 1 paragraph. 3, track it for 7 days. Each day you follow through, imagine you're casting a vote for your future self. The truth about change: the secret to long-term success isn't motivation, it's systems. Goals define the results you want. Systems define the process that gets you there. If you focus only on the goal, you'll feel pressure. But if you focus on building a better system, like small daily wins, success becomes automatic. And in the long run, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your small, invisible habits, the quiet actions that no one sees, but that define everything you become. Part 2, the 4 laws of behavior change, the science of building better habits. If habits are the compound interest of self-improvement, then understanding how they work is the formula that unlocks the process. James Clear simplifies decades of behavioral science into one elegant model called the 4 laws of behavior change. These 4 laws are like levers. Once you understand them, you can design habits that stick effortlessly. They are: 1, make it obvious; 2, make it attractive; 3, make it easy; 4, make it satisfying. Let's explore each one. 1, make it obvious. Habits begin with a cue, a trigger that prompts your brain to take action. The problem is, many of our cues are invisible. We scroll our phones without realizing, snack without hunger, or procrastinate without noticing. To change your habits, you first need to become aware of them. The solution: habit stacking and environment design. Habit stacking means attaching a new habit to an existing one. Example: after I brush my teeth, I'll meditate for 1 minute. Environment design means shaping your surroundings so the good habits are easy to to start and the bad ones are hard to continue. If you want to read more, place a book on your pillow. If you want to eat healthier, keep fruits visible and junk food out of sight. Make the cues of good habits obvious. Again, the cues of bad ones invisible. 2, make it attractive. We repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. That's why habits often fail, because they're boring or unpleasant at first. To make a habit stick, pair it with something you already enjoy. James Clear calls this temptation bundling. Example, only listen to your favorite podcast while working out. Only watch Netflix while folding laundry. This small shift turns discipline into desire. Your brain starts to associate positive emotions with the habit, increasing the likelihood you'll do it again. 3, make it easy. We often think success requires massive effort, but in reality, consistency beats intensity. The easier a habit is to start, the more likely it will last. Clear introduces the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Want to run every morning? Start by putting on your shoes. Want to write a book? Start by writing 1 sentence. Want to eat healthier? Start by prepping 1 fruit or vegetable. Once the habit is established, it's easier to expand it naturally. The goal is to master the art of showing up, not to be perfect from day 1. 4, make it satisfying. What gets rewarded gets repeated. To make a habit last, you need an immediate sense of success, even if the real results will take time. Use visual cues of progress, like a habit tracker or checklist, to make your progress visible and rewarding. Each time you check a box, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of motivation. Avoid the just this once trap. Every small action either strengthens or weakens your identity. When you make your habit satisfying, your brain starts craving the positive feeling of completion, and that's what keeps you going. Practical exercise. Build your habit blueprint. Choose 1 new habit you want to build and fill in this formula. Q, I will habit at time and place. Attraction, I will make it enjoyable by method. Ease, I'll start with just the smallest version possible. Satisfaction, I'll reward myself with small positive reinforcement. Example, Q, I'll stretch for 2 minutes after brushing my teeth. Attraction, I'll play my favorite music while doing it. Ease, only 2 minutes to start. Satisfaction, I'll mark it off on my calendar. Master these 4 laws and you gain control over every habit in your life. You'll stop relying on willpower and start designing your environment, emotions, and identity for success. Remember, you do not need to be perfect, so you just need to be consistent. Small actions repeated daily will create unstoppable momentum. Part 3, the power of identity, becoming the type of person who succeeds. We all want better results, more success, more focus, more health, more happiness. But most people make the mistake of starting at the wrong level. James Clear explains that there are 3 layers of behavior change. 1, outcomes, what you get, losing weight, earning more, finishing a project. 2, processes, what you do, your routines and systems. 3, identity, what you believe, your self-image and values. Most people focus on outcomes, some focus on processes, but the most powerful and lasting change starts at the identity level and with who you believe you are. I am is stronger than I want. Think about it, it's easy to say, I want to be fit, but if deep down you believe I'm lazy, you'll always return to old habits. Your current habits are a reflection of your current identity. To change your habits, you must first change your story about yourself. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. When you read a page, you vote for being a reader. When you work out, you vote for being an athlete. When you save money, you vote for being financially responsible. Change doesn't happen overnight. It happens vote by vote. You don't need unanimous votes to become that new person. You just need enough consistent ones to shift the balance of belief. Identity creates behavior, and behavior reinforces identity. This creates a self-reinforcing loop. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity shapes your habits. When both align, change becomes effortless. This is why external motivation fades, but identity-driven motivation lasts. You're no longer chasing results. You're simply acting in alignment with who you already believe you are. Practical exercise, redefine your identity. 1, ask yourself, who do I want to become? Be specific, not I want to get in shape, but I want to be a person who respects and cares for my body. 2, list the small actions that align with that identity. A healthy person walks daily. A focused person plans their day. A calm person meditates each morning. 3, start small but consistent. Each repetition strengthens your new identity. Over time, these tiny actions rewrite your self-image at a subconscious level. Forget goals. Build systems around who you are. Goals are about results. Systems are about identity alignment. Instead of focusing on what you want, focus on the kind of person who naturally achieves it. For example, don't focus on running a marathon, focus on becoming a runner. Don't focus on writing a book, focus on being a writer. Don't focus on losing weight, focus on being someone who moves daily. When your identity drives your actions, discipline becomes natural. You're not forcing behavior, you're expressing who you are. The real secret of change: anyone can change a habit for a few days. The real transformation happens when your habits change your sense of self. James Clear says, the goal is not to run a marathon, the goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to write a book, the goal is to become a writer. This shift from doing to being is what makes the difference between temporary motivation and permanent transformation. Remember, true behavior change is identity change. Decide who you want to be, and every small habit will become a vote to prove it true. Over time, your life will rise to match your new self-image. Part 4, the role of environment. Design your space, design your success. We often think that to change our habits, we need more discipline or motivation. But James Clear reveals a profound truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, and your environment is the most powerful system of all. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than you realize. The spaces you live and work in constantly send signals to your brain, signals that can either push you forward or pull you back. Your environment is a silent influencer. If you walk into your kitchen and see a plate of cookies on the counter, what happens? You eat them, not because you're hungry, but because the cue is visible. Your brain reacts to what it sees. This is why willpower fails. You're trying to resist an environment designed to tempt you. Instead of fighting old cues, design new ones. If you want to eat healthier, make the fruit visible and the junk food invisible. If you want to read more, leave a book on your pillow. If you want to exercise, prepare your workout clothes the night before. The best way to break a bad habit isn't to fight it, it's to make it invisible. Make the good habits obvious and easy. James Clear calls this environment design. It means setting up your space to make good choices automatic. Want to drink more water? Keep a bottle on your desk. Want to save money? Remove shopping apps from your phone. Want to focus better? Keep your phone in another room while you work. When the cues for good habits are easy to see and the cues for bad habits are hard to notice, your brain naturally leans toward better behavior without using willpower. Your environment becomes your ally instead of your enemy. Context is more powerful than motivation. We like to believe we act based on decisions, but most of our actions are contextual, triggered by where we are and what's around us. That's why you might feel productive at your office but distracted at home, or calm in nature but stressed in traffic. You don't need to change who you are, you need to change where you are when you perform certain behaviors. Covey suggests context-based habits like read only in a specific chair, meditate only in one corner of your room, check social media only at a certain time and place. This trains your brain to associate environments with specific actions, creating invisible triggers for success. Practical exercise: redesign your environment. 1. Choose one goal you're working on, fitness, focus, learning, etc. 2. Identify the environmental cues that either help or hurt your progress. What do you see when you walk into the room? What distractions or temptations are always nearby? 3. Change one small thing today to make the good habit more visible and the bad one invisible. Move your phone out of reach, put your running shoes next to your bed, keep a notebook where inspiration often strikes. Remember, the easiest way to change your behavior is to change what you see every day. The power of invisible design: when your environment aligns with your goals, good habits become the default. You stop depending on motivation and start depending on structure. Success is not about being stronger than temptation. It's about making temptation harder to reach and the right choice easier to start. You don't need more willpower. You need fewer obstacles. Remember, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. Design your surroundings to reflect the person you want to become, and your habits will follow naturally. Part 5, the plateau of latent potential, the hidden phase before breakthrough. Imagine you're trying to heat a block of ice. You raise the temperature from -5 degrees Celsius to -4 degrees Celsius, then to -3 degrees Celsius, and nothing happens. You keep going. On -2 degrees Celsius, -1 degree Celsius, still nothing changes, but when you reach 0 degrees Celsius, everything transforms. The ice melts. That, James Clear explains, is how all meaningful change works. You can work hard for weeks, months, even years with little to show for it, and then suddenly progress seems to happen all at once. He calls this moment the plateau of latent potential, the hidden phase where your efforts are silently compounding behind the scenes. The power of hidden growth. Habits often appear useless early on because results are delayed. When you go to the gym for a week and don't see results, it's easy to quit. When you start saving money and your account barely grows, it feels pointless. But beneath the surface, small wins are building momentum. Change is like bamboo. For the first 5 years, bamboo grows only underground, building a deep root system. Then, in a matter of weeks, it shoots up over 20 meters high. Your habits are doing the same thing and building foundations for an inevitable breakthrough. Forget the goal line. Focus on the process. Most people quit because they expect linear progress. They want instant rewards. But mastery doesn't work that way. The results of your habits are delayed gratification. You need patience to cross the invisible threshold where effort turns into exponential growth. Clear calls this moment the breakthrough curve. At first, the line looks flat, nothing happens, then suddenly it rises sharply. That's when others call you an overnight success, not realizing your years of quiet consistency. Embrace the valley of disappointment. Between starting a habit and seeing visible results lies what Clear calls the valley of disappointment. This is where most people give up, not because change doesn't work, but because they can't yet see the results of their work. To succeed, you must learn to trust the process even when progress is invisible. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. James Clear writes, "The greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom. And it's not the big obstacles that stop us, it's the slow grind before results appear." Practical exercise, track progress, not perfection. 1. Choose one habit you're building right now. 2. Commit to consistency for at least 30 days. Focus on showing up, not being perfect. 3. Keep a visual tracker, a calendar, journal, or app to see your streak grow. 4. Remind yourself daily, my job is to vote for the person I want to become. You'll start to feel the satisfaction of progress long before you see the external results. Trust the compounding process. Compounding doesn't just apply to money, it applies to self-improvement. Small habits don't add up, they multiply. The effects of good habits are delayed but powerful, while the effects of bad habits are immediate but destructive. This is why patience is your greatest advantage when nothing seems to be changing. Remember, growth is happening under the surface. Every repetition is a seed planted. Every effort is a degree closer to the melting point. Every day you show up, you're moving toward your breakthrough. Remember, habits are the invisible architecture of your success, and success takes time to reveal itself. Stay consistent. The results are coming even if you can't see them yet. Part 6, How to Break Bad Habits, Reprogramming the Invisible Forces Holding You Back. Every bad habit you have, procrastination, overeating, scrolling endlessly, doubting yourself, serves a purpose. It offers some form of reward, comfort, escape, or relief. That's why it's so hard to break, because you're not just fighting behavior, you're fighting emotion. James Clear reminds us that bad habits don't simply disappear, they must be replaced. And to do that, you can use the same 4 laws of behavior change, but in reverse. Let's break it down. The 4 inversion laws for breaking bad habits. 1. Make it invisible. 2. Make it unattractive. 3. Make it difficult. 4. Make it unsatisfying. These are your 4 weapons against destructive patterns. 1. Make it invisible. The most powerful way to stop a bad habit is to remove its triggers from your environment. Don't rely on willpower, change what you see. Want to eat less junk food? Don't buy it in the first place. Want to stop scrolling at night? Keep your phone in another room after 9 p.m. Want to stop wasting time? Block distracting sites during work hours. Out of sight, out of mind, and eventually out of habit. Your environment should act as a guardrail, not a battlefield. 2. Make it unattractive. Habits are driven by how your brain perceives reward. To break one, reframe your mindset. Make the bad habit less appealing. Ask yourself, what am I really getting from this? Scrolling social media might bring comfort, but it also steals focus and peace. Overeating might feel good in the moment, but it brings guilt later. Visualize the long-term consequences of your actions until the short-term pleasure loses its power. You can also use habit contracts, agreements with yourself or someone else, where there's a consequence for giving in to a bad habit. For example, pay a friend $10 every time you skip the gym. Suddenly, laziness becomes expensive. And 3, make it difficult. Increase the friction between you and the habit you want to stop, but every extra step you add weakens the behavior. Examples: delete the app instead of just hiding it. Keep snacks in the garage, not the kitchen. Unplug your TV when you're done watching. The harder it is to start a bad habit, the easier it becomes to stop doing doing it? James Clear calls this the addition of friction. Even small barriers can destroy a destructive pattern. 4, make it unsatisfying. If a bad habit feels bad immediately, you'll stop doing it. Create immediate accountability. That's the secret. Tell a friend or partner about your goal. Use an accountability app. Keep track of every time you slip up and how it makes you feel. When you attach discomfort to your bad habits, your brain begins to reject them automatically. Remember, what gets rewarded gets repeated, and what gets punished gets reduced. Practical exercise, the reverse habit plan. 1, identify one bad habit you want to break. 2, write it in the middle of a page. 3, around it, list the 4 inverted laws. Invisible, how can I remove the cue? Unattractive, how can I reframe the pleasure? Difficult, how can I make it harder to start? Unsatisfying, how can I add accountability or consequence? 4, implement one change for each. You'll be surprised how quickly your environment and mindset begin to rewrite your behavior. The real lesson: breaking a habit isn't about becoming stronger, it's about becoming smarter. You don't need to fight temptation endlessly. You just need to design your life so temptation has no place to grow. James Clear says, you can break a habit, but you're unlikely to forget it. The key is to reduce your exposure and replace it with a better one. Replace, redesign, and repeat. Remember, the opposite of addiction isn't discipline, it's awareness. Once you understand what drives your bad habits, you can disarm them forever. Part 7, the power of systems, how to stay consistent without motivation. If you've ever started strong and then lost momentum, you've experienced the trap of motivation. You feel inspired at first, you make plans, set goals, even buy new gear, but eventually motivation fades and you're back where you started. James Clear teaches a powerful truth. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Goals are about results, systems are about the process that produces those results. And if you focus on the right process, success becomes inevitable. Why systems beat goals? And think about it. Everyone has the same goals, and to be healthy, happy, and successful. The difference is not in what people want, but in what systems they follow. And a goal is your desired outcome. A system is the collection of habits that lead you there. A goal is to run a marathon. The system is your daily training plan. A goal is to publish a book. The system is your writing routine. A goal is to lose weight. The system is your meal and exercise habits. When you commit to the system instead of obsessing over the goal, you make progress automatic and sustainable. Goals restrict, systems liberate. Here's the problem with goals. Once you achieve them, you stop. You run the marathon, then stop running. You lose the weight, then stop exercising. Goals are temporary, systems are permanent. When you focus on building systems, success becomes a lifestyle, not a finish line. James Clear explains it this way: winners and losers have the same goals. It's their systems that make the difference. Focus on process, not perfection. Motivation is fickle, discipline is limited, but a well-designed system removes the need for both. If your system makes good habits obvious, easy, and rewarding, you'll stay consistent even when you don't feel like it. The secret is habit automation, designing routines so friction disappears and momentum builds naturally. For example, place your gym bag by the door the night before, set your workspace so it's always ready to go, and prepare healthy meals in advance. These tiny actions reduce decision fatigue and make consistency effortless. Practical exercise: build your system map. 1, choose one area of your life you want to improve: health, productivity, learning, or finances. 2, define the goal, the outcome. 3, write down the system, the daily or weekly habits that will make that goal inevitable. 4, focus on executing the system for 30 days, not the result. Example: goal, read 20 books a year. System, read 10 pages every night before bed. And it's not glamorous, but systems create consistency, and consistency creates miracles. The real reward: when you build a strong system, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster of motivation. You no longer depend on inspiration. Your habits carry you forward automatically. The system becomes your safety net. It works even when you're tired, stressed, or unmotivated. James Clear puts it beautifully: you do not need to be the victim of your environment. You can be the architect of it and design systems that make success inevitable and failure nearly impossible. Remember, goals help you set direction, but systems help you make progress. Fall in love with the process and the results will take care of themselves. Part 8, The Goldilocks rule, how to stay motivated and avoid burnout. Have you ever noticed that when a task is too easy, you get bored, but when it's too hard, you get frustrated? Somewhere in between lies the sweet spot where you feel challenged, focused, and alive. James Clear calls this balance the Goldilocks rule. It states that people experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are just right, not too easy, not too difficult, but just manageable enough to keep you engaged, finding the balance between comfort and challenge. When a habit is too easy, it doesn't excite you. When it's too difficult, it feels discouraging. But when it's just slightly beyond your current ability, about 4% harder than what you can already do, your brain enters a state of flow. This is where progress feels natural and deeply satisfying. It's the same state athletes call the zone, where time disappears, effort feels effortless, and performance peaks. The key is to start small, then gradually increase the challenge as you master each level. Example, if you're learning to run, don't start with 10 kilometers, don't start with 1 kilometer. Once that's easy, go to 2 kilometers, then 3. The habit grows, and so does your confidence. This approach keeps motivation alive by ensuring your effort always feels meaningful, but never overwhelming. Mastery is boring until it isn't. Here's a truth few people talk about. Even great performers get bored, and the difference is that they stay consistent despite the boredom. Professionals don't rely on inspiration. They rely on discipline. They show up even when they don't feel like it, trusting the process they built. James Clear writes, "The greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom. When a habit loses excitement, most people quit, but high achievers use boredom as a signal of progress, because once a task becomes dull, it means it's becoming automatic, and that's exactly the goal of habit building." How to stay engaged. To avoid stagnation, introduce variation without breaking the pattern. Change how you do the habit, not whether you do it. Example, try a new running route, learn a new recipe, study a new topic, but keep the routine. Track small wins and milestones to remind yourself of your growth. Reward consistency, not perfection. The brain craves novelty, so give it small doses of newness while staying anchored to your core system. Practical exercise. Apply the Goldilocks rule. 1. Choose one habit you're building, writing, fitness, learning, etc. 2. Ask, is this too easy or too hard right now? 3. Adjust it until it feels just slightly challenging. Too easy? Add a small challenge. Too hard? Scale it back. 4. Measure progress weekly, not daily, as small fluctuations are normal, but the trend should move upward. The goal is to stay in the zone, where effort feels rewarding, not exhausting. Why this rule works. The Goldilocks rule aligns with human psychology. We crave progress, not perfection. Our motivation stays highest when we see ourselves improving step by step. This is why games, sports, and learning new skills are addictive. They constantly offer achievable challenges. When you apply that principle to your habits, consistency becomes natural and even enjoyable. Remember, motivation is not something you find, it's something you create by staying in the zone of meaningful challenge. The key to mastery is not avoiding boredom, but learning to love the rhythm of steady progress. Part 9, How to Make Habits Stick for Life, the Secret of Continuous Reinvention. Building a habit is one thing, keeping it for years, even decades, is something else entirely. And most people can stay consistent for a while, but then life happens, schedules change, stress hits, or motivation fades. So how do you create habits that survive all of life's ups and downs? James Clear gives us the answer. The key to lasting success is continuous reinvention, adapting your habits to every new stage of your life without losing the identity behind them. Habits must evolve as you grow. What works for you today might not work forever. A system that helped you when you were single might fail when you have a family. A routine that fit your college schedule may not fit your job or business life. That's normal. The most successful people don't cling to one version of a habit. They redesign it to fit their new reality. James Clear says you need to fall in love with the process of becoming, and not with any single identity. You're not a runner because you run every morning. You're a person who cares about health. If mornings stop working, you can move your run to the evening. Your identity stays, even if your method changes. The power of reflection and review. The habits are living systems, and every system needs maintenance, and that's why James Clear recommends a simple but powerful practice, the habit review. Once a week or once a month, ask yourself, what's working well? What feels forced or outdated? What small adjustment could make this easier or more enjoyable? This reflection keeps your habits fresh, flexible, and aligned with your current goals. And think of it as sharpening your saw, not to start over, but to keep your edge. Identity over streaks. Many people get attached to their streaks, the number of days they've kept a habit alive, but true mastery comes when you're not afraid to restart. Missing one day doesn't erase your progress. What matters is returning quickly, not perfection, but persistence. James Clear calls this never miss twice. If you skip once, fine, but don't skip twice in a row. That's how you maintain momentum for life. Practical exercise, the habit evolution plan. 1. Choose one habit you've been doing for at least a month. 2. Reflect on it using these 3 questions. What part of this habit still works for me? What part feels boring or forced? How can I refresh it while keeping the same intention? 3. Adjust one small element, the time, the method, or the location, and test the new version for a week. You'll be amazed how a small reinvention keeps your habits alive and exciting. The real secret: keep becoming. Success is not about rigidly holding on to routines. It's about staying true to your principles while adapting your actions. Habits are not prison bars, they're tools for freedom. When they serve you, use them. When they don't, reshape them. As James Clear writes, becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. Remember, the goal is not to be perfect, and it's to keep improving. Habits that last a lifetime are the ones that grow with you. Part 10, The Power of Tiny Gains, How Small Changes Create a Big Life. If there's one lesson at the heart of atomic habits, it's this: small changes don't add up, they multiply. James Clear calls this principle the power of tiny gains. It's the understanding that even the smallest positive habits, when repeated over time, compound into extraordinary results in the same way that money compounds interest. A 1% improvement every day may seem meaningless in the short term, but after 1 year it makes you 37 times better. That's the magic of compound growth, quiet, invisible, and unstoppable. The truth about big success: we often look at successful people and think they've done something huge, but in reality, their greatness is built on small, consistent actions, repeated long enough to become automatic. A writer becomes an author not by inspiration, but by writing 1 page a day. An athlete becomes elite not through one intense workout, but through years of daily practice. The business thrives not because of one genius idea, but because of thousands of small, smart decisions. Tiny habits are like seeds, easy to overlook, but destined to grow into forests when nourished by consistency. Why we overlook the small things: our brains love dramatic change, the big win, the overnight success. But life doesn't work that way. Real transformation happens gradually beneath the surface. When you start a new habit, waking early, eating better, saving money, you may not see results for weeks. But what you're really changing is your trajectory. Clear explains that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. The same way that money multiplies through interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. Small habits may not change your life today, but they will determine where you end up tomorrow. Practical exercise, the compound habit tracker. 1. Choose 3 small actions that reflect the person you want to become. Example: read 5 pages, meditate for 3 minutes, write 1 paragraph. 2. Track them daily for 30 days. 3. Focus only on consistency, not perfection. At first, progress will seem slow, but by the end of the month, you'll notice something incredible. Your habits are no longer things you try to do. They become part of who you are. The power of patience. Great results are delayed results. The ice melts only after enough heat has built up. The tree grows roots before it grows branches. Your progress is accumulating quietly, preparing for its visible moment. This is why patience isn't passive. It's the most powerful act of faith in your future self. Keep showing up, keep repeating small wins, because what you do today isn't just changing your day, it's shaping your destiny. The final lesson: when you understand that greatness is built from ordinary moments, you stop waiting for motivation and start mastering momentum. You begin to see that every tiny decision, every extra push-up, every page read, every kind word is a step toward the person you're becoming. James Clear reminds us that every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become, so keep voting, keep becoming. Your small habits today are building the extraordinary life you'll live tomorrow. And thank you for listening to Audiobook Summary. If this content inspired you, subscribe and share it with those around you. More powerful summaries are coming very soon. See you next time. And remember, big results are the sum of small, consistent